All right, so now we're going to actually learn how to find an inverse. So go ahead and copy down these steps. So to find an inverse, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change our notation. So this is changing from f of x, we're just going to switch it to y. That's all we're doing. For our second step, we're actually going to swap our x's and y's. So our x's are going to become y's and my y's are going to become x's. My third step, I'm going to actually solve for y. And then the last thing is just change the y to our inverse notation, which is that f to the negative 1x. That's our inverse notation. Okay, so let's go ahead and try them. And remember our special inverse functions, right? X squared cancels out square root. The same with cubes. So x cubed is going to cancel out a cube root, which we'll see. We'll see right now. Okay, so let's try it. Let's do the first one. This 2x minus 4. 2x minus 4. So my step 1. So step 1. If I look back, I have to change that f of x to y. So I'm going to write y is equal to 2x minus 4. Okay, my step 2, I'm going to change my x's and my y's. So my y's become x's and my x's become y's. And then step 3, I'm going to start solving for y. So y, I want to isolate y and then put everything else on the other side. So if you want to try and do it, go ahead and try. Pause the video, keep going, see if we get the same answer. Hopefully we do. So let's go ahead and go. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides because I want to get rid of that 4. The next thing I'm going to do, combine any terms I need to. So I'm left with x plus 4 equals 2y. The last thing I'm going to do is divide by 2 because I want to get y by itself. So at this point, I know when you divide by 2, you're going to be tempted to do this. Watch. Let me show you what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to divide this by 2 and this by 2 and simplify that 4 over 2. But when we're verifying inverses, we don't want to do that. We want to leave it as a whole fraction. I don't know why. It just makes life easier. Okay, so we have y is equal to x plus 4 over 2. So if you can simplify 2 with both terms, go ahead and simplify it. But if you can't, just leave it as a big fraction. Okay, so my last step, step 4. Step 4, I'm going to change to inverse notation. So I'm going to do not in red. So I'm going to do f to the negative 1 of x is equal to x plus 4 over 2. Okay, so pretty easy, right? Pretty straightforward. I think the only hard part would be the actual algebra part. But hopefully after you do these for a while, it'll be okay. So let's try doing a second one. If you want to try it by yourself, try it by yourself. If not, it's okay. Okay, so step 1. Step 1, I'm going to change y equals x squared plus 5. Okay, step 2, see if you remember step 2. I'm going to change my x's for y's and y's for x's. Plus 5. And then step 3, I'm going to solve. I'm going to start solving. So remember, we want to isolate the y. So I want to get rid of the 5 as well as the square term. I just want to leave y by itself, completely alone. It likes being a loner. Okay, so let's subtract 5 from both sides. Minus 5 minus 5. So I'm left with x minus 5 equals y squared. Okay, so remember up here, our inverse function. So how do I get rid of y squared? Well, I just have to take the square root. That's going to get rid of it. So let's take the square root. Square root here, square root here. So I know that my square root cancels out with my 2. So I'm left with y is equal to square root of x minus 5. I can't simplify anything inside of my square root. So that's just the way it stays. And then my last step, step 4, I'm going to change to my inverse notation. So f to the negative 1 of x is equal to x minus 5 square root of x minus 5, and that's our answer. Okay, if you want to practice more examples, go ahead and look at the next video, but if you think you're good, then you're good.